children pulled out of Akwesasne, an epidemic of Canadian bankruptcy, and the latest horror from the man who made The Exorcist. Next.
First News with Thalia Shuris, Richard Brown, and the Global News Team.
Good afternoon, everyone. Women, children, and the elderly are being evacuated from the St. Regis Akwesasne Indian Reserve near Cornwall. Mohawk leaders say tensions on the reserve have reached a boiling point, and they can no longer guarantee the safety of the residents.
For 2 years now, Mohawks have been at odds over whether to allow gambling on the reserve. The dispute has taken another violent turn. Last night, the Mohawk police station on the Canadian side of the border-straddling reserve was pumped with bullets. And in another incident, several men were attacked and beaten with baseball bats while searching for a missing elder.
What's happening is that in the immediate future, this coming night and weekend, we need some support to the Mohawk police. And if the provincial governments are not going to force their police to go in there and assist, then they must clearly step aside, and the federal police have to come in.
But our view is that there are people threatened now, and the jurisdictional question should not prevent various authorities from protecting people who are threatened.
Today, Mohawk leaders took action of their own, ordering the evacuation of some 2,000 residents to the nearby Cornwall Civic Complex. Evacuees are being transported by boat across the St. Lawrence River because land routes are blocked by pro-gambling factions.
It lasted all night, a one-man filibuster at Queen's Park as the NDP continued to delay passage of the government's no-fault auto insurance plan. Peter Cormos, the NDP MPP for Welland Thorold, started his filibuster shortly before 6 last night. He's been trying to delay passage of the government's insurance bill for 3 weeks, but last night was the first time he'd been forced to speak all night. The House was virtually empty. Cormos sustained himself with a single slice of pizza, some pop, coffee, and water. About 11 o'clock this morning, he ended it.
I think we've attracted attention across Ontario to the fact that this Liberal government is an arrogant one. It's one that doesn't deserve to hold power. It's one that's prepared to trade off the rights of taxpayers, drivers, and, sadly, innocent injured victims for the profits of the insurance industry. I find that despicable.
Cormos says that if nothing else, his all-night talking spree has drawn more attention to Bill 68. Our Queen's Park Bureau Chief Robert Fisher will have more on all of this a little later in the broadcast. With less than 2 months to go in the 3-year debate over the Meech Lake Accord, Prime Minister Brian Mulroney made a plea today for all Canadians to help find a solution. He made his pitch